Hi, I'm Lynn.
And I'm Amanda, and this is the Pursuit of Badasserie, the podcast.
This podcast is all about taking action and creating that badass business abundance and life that you want.
Where we share stories, laughs, wins, and epic fails to show you the whole picture of the entrepreneurial journey.
It's not just unicorns and rainbows, people.
Jump on and follow us through this raw and witty roller coaster,
where we get down and dirty and go behind the scenes of life and entrepreneurship.
Get on it,
get over it,
and get after it.
Hey, I'm Lynn.
And I'm Amanda. Welcome to the Pursuit of Badasserie, the podcast. Welcome 2025. This is the first podcast of the new year. I know it's every year I say, I can't believe it's a new year, but every year I am still in awestruck of just how fast time goes.
Yes. Can you believe it's 2025 already? Like freaking insane.
No.
Insane.
No, because 20 years ago was 1980. I don't know what happened.
I remember Y2K. Do you remember that?
Yes, I remember Y2K. Oh, I'm so scared. But all the computers were gonna.
For those
if you don't know, if you don't know what Y2K is, I'm gonna need you to Google it or ask ChatGPT. You know, back with the Dewey
lost their damn minds. Lost their minds, and we're like preparing for the end of the world, like shelters and everything. Oh my god. Oh my god. Anywho, we're gonna talk a little bit of trash today.
That's not true. We're gonna get a reality check.
Reality check.
Not trash talk if it's true.
Oh, well, I like that motto. But here's the thing. Which is I was thinking of the irony about us talking about how like we don't wait for the year though, but we're always looking how to up level and like make it like not make it new, but make it better. We're going to give a little bit of reality check around new year, new me, but yet we're up leveling. Anywho.
Okay. No. Okay. So for our audience, the topic today is New Year, New You, and sort of a myth buster around this, a reality check around what that means, a reality check around New Year's resolutions. And it's not to say we don't want people to improve and embrace change like every day, like any day could be a Monday kind of mentality, because there's always that feeling like it's easier to start anew if it's the first of a month, if it's a Monday, if it's the new year, something, or if it's even your birthday. Some people feel that that's the perfect time to start something new because it feels fresh. Like Monday I'll work out on Monday. You know, it's one of those things. So we're not poo-pooing the desire to be better and to improve yourself and to strive for more. We want those things. We love those things. We do. We have these existential crises all the time, talking to ourselves sometimes, often, and
a little too often.
Staff meeting. It's fine. We talk all the time about this because we are constantly trying to up level. We are constantly trying to be better, do better, make the world better in all intents and purposes. So when it comes around to January 1st, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, or probably hungover, waking up into a new year, and what irks us is this common theme of resolutions, new year, new me, and then nothing. And it's just you're saying it because that's what you say, and then there's no action put into it. It is just another day. It is another Monday. A week goes by, a month goes by. You still haven't flossed your teeth. You haven't eaten any vegetables. We get it. Then stop saying new year, new me. If it's new year, same me for 75 years.
Yes. People think it's this like magical, like button, like day that all of a sudden reset, and we don't have to do anything to actually have that transformation, to have the cause and the effect. And it's not the day. And you were saying actually earlier, and I don't know if you said it you actually said this phrase, but you were talking around is like, there's no better day to start something than yesterday. The next best day is today. It's the same thing as planting a tree. So you don't have to wait for this day in the new year. And that's the wait. But also when that day comes, it doesn't just magically turn you into, the princess or whatever. Real change is everyday actionable steps. It's not like January 1 isn't a reset button for your life, for your business. You have to put in everyday action, and it's a gradual movement. It's that consistency of everyday actions gives you that transformation. It's not just like snap my fingers, man. Did you ever wish you had a magic genie in a lamp? For many reasons, I've often wondered what my 3 wishes would be. But that's not facts, people. That's not reality. Like, come on, wake up. You got to
analyze my 3 wishes, like assuming that the genie was out to trick me. I'm like, how would I word it in the exact right way that would get my wish, so that even if he were a tricky little a-hole, I would still get the outcome I want? Because there's all those like stories of you ask for the wish and like, oh, I want money, and then like your family dies and leaves you money, and like all the negatives. Like I've like worked it out in like a 4 a.m. insomniatic moment, worked out my genie wishes. However, I digress. But it's true that one of the hardest things, and I say this with sort of love, not really love, it's more like veiled animosity, that as someone who worked in the fitness industry for 20 plus years, I loved New Year's resolution time, because this is like, it's like New Year's disillusionment time, where people thought they were going to suddenly be so dedicated and they would buy their gym membership in full. And they were like, yeah, I'm going to buy a new outfit and I'm going to be great. And I love those people, because I mean, I would make triple my monthly income in 1 month because people were so excited. But most of those people, like if you think about the big box chains, like not necessarily the boutique fitness studios, but the big, like a Gold's Gym or a Bally's or whatever, LA Fitness, they're banking on people not coming. In fact, they oversell memberships with the knowledge that 30-something% are never going to show up. They're hoping you don't show up. They're like banking on your ability to wake up on January 1st hungover and say, maybe I'll wait till Monday, because January 1st very rarely falls on a Monday, but sometimes it does. But even still, it's just like, oh, I'm so hungover. Maybe I'll start tomorrow. It's fine. I'll wait to start my workout routine. And then 7 years later, you haven't done it.
I thought it was more like your inability to have discipline and actually get your head out of your and do something about it. But to go back to the transformation doesn't happen overnight. Like, again, a new date on the calendar doesn't erase those bad habits, doesn't erase the excuses that you always give yourself, doesn't erase the patterns or the struggles that you have put into place that you continue to live through. And so you have to make change. Also, another thing about new year, new you, and this goes on your example, and I love the gym examples are so easy, is a lot of times people don't need a drastic overhaul. They think it has to be a completely different person. There's somebody who's just like unattainable or doesn't have anything to do with who they are. Not always, but like, I don't even want to go down that route, but it's just not feasible. And so you have to change everything. And that's not true. Huge leaps and bounds. Like if we look at weight loss, like if you lose a bunch of weight all at once, that's typically not sustainable, right? It's not long-term. You can have some quick fixes, but it's not fundamental and foundational to get you to keep that, right? That sustainable change. And often at times when you try to do like, especially when you're not used to it and you try to do this big drastic overhaul, if you are one who's going to like put in the work to do the overhaul, you can do it. And if you haven't done the groundwork to be able to, and the fundamentals, the foundational work to be able to sustain it, you're building it on shaky ground. A lot of times you don't know exactly what you need to do because you haven't put the forethought into it. And it can really lead to overwhelm and burnout and a lot of doors in your face. And which, is part of business. But if you're not used to that, and part of life's like, let's be honest. But if you're not used to that and haven't set yourself up for better success, then it disheartens you and you actually end up worse than what you started out with, typically.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you talk about discipline. When it comes to making these changes, there is a lot more discipline there because, yeah, January 1st is a great motivation for a lot of people, but motivation is not the same thing as discipline.
Nope.
I could be motivated to work out, but then at 5 a.m. on January 1st, when I'm hungover and it's negative 20 degrees outside, I mean, not where I am, but somewhere, it's negative 20 degrees outside. It takes discipline to get you out of the bed and get you into the gym every day. And then the next week, and then the next month, and then 6 months later. That takes dedication, discipline. It's not just motivation, because I would say most of the most disciplined people I know are not motivated all the time. You just can't be motivated all the time unless you have somebody you're paying to make you get motivated, which is, what personal trainers do, which is what nutritionists do, which what coaches do. There's all sorts of professions that can hold you accountable, but ultimately it's the discipline to actually do it, put in those actions, put in those fundamental steps. Because even, Lynn and I are coaches and coach consultants, more consultants these days, but we can tell you what to do. We can motivate you, hold you accountable, but we can't force you to have the discipline to put in those day-to-day steps that are those small action things that are going to create the results, the consistent results that you're looking for. We can't make you do it. I guess I could make you do it, but that's more like a dominatrix thing, which is like a whole other profession, which maybe I'll do this year.
Another podcast.
Good. You'll be in just saying.
Well, but it's facts. Like, we can lead you, we can show you the door, but we can't make you go through it. Even if we pushed you through it, at the end of the day, you're not going to stay through it. We have no problem pushing you through it, but what we've learned in the years is that if you don't actually, it's kind of like the kid who bought his car and earned the money versus the kid who was given his car. Like, the person who has typically earned his or her way, put in the work, they appreciate more. There's more impact. There's more compounded cause and effect as well, versus the one who does not. Another myth too, or I don't know if this would be a myth, but a lot of times people who are like, okay, I got this, I'm going to do this. And the first time they have a setback, they feel like, woe was me, I failed, or they make excuses, just one more cookie, just one more cookie, but this failure or this backslide, this I tripped and fell, whatever, into a pile of cookies. I don't know why we're talking about cookies. Now I'm getting hungry for cookies. Anyway, the truth is, growth and change is not linear. And learning compassion and grace for oneself, because failure, tripping, setbacks, it's all a part of the process. And this goes back to where we were just talking about, are you really setting yourself up for success? Do you have the support around you to be able to weather that particular setback or that failure, right? Have you set yourself up in the right way as much as possible? Or do you have the ability, energetically, emotionally, spiritually, to be resilient? Because that has to come from you. That's a muscle that you build. And so you have to realize, you're going to get more no's and yeses. You're going to have failures. There's going to be setbacks, but growth isn't linear. And so this whole new year, new you, you're bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, you're super excited. And then the first door slammed in your face, you kind of get your butt hurt. You're not gonna go very far. And so this whole, are you setting yourself up for success or failure?
And I have to say also, are you recognizing how far you have come and what you have accomplished? There's this new trend. It's probably not gonna be new by the time this podcast comes out. It will not be a new trend. It will be an old trend, but an Instagram trend where the first image is, oh, I'm so hard on myself because I haven't accomplished all that I've wanted to. And then the second picture is, but here's what I actually accomplished. I had hit this milestone in my business. I did this many days of travel. I had I had a new baby, I lost 20 pounds, I hit 6 figures, I hit 7 figures, I whatever. And I think that when you're looking at this whole new year, new you, it's important to also take a look at what you actually have done, because you can't really set yourself up for success and make bigger leaps and bounds if you don't know where you are. How can you know where you're going next if you don't even know where you are? I mean, I'm not great with maps, but I know that at least.
Great.
I
You're
mean,
not great at maps too. I knew
the
that one.
worst. You remember MapQuest? We used to type it in and like get a piece of paper, and you would like drive around with a piece of paper trying to figure out where you're going. It would lead you to like an alley. And that was like high tech. The old
That was
folded
high
maps.
tech. Actually, I was
Yes.
going through old things with my grandma over the Christmas when I visited her, and she had maps from like way back in the day. It's like, Grammy, nobody knows how to read these anymore. But I can remember traveling across the US
Oh yeah. With the
based
big
off
map,
of
the
a
big
map.
thing, and then we
Yes.
figure out how to refold it, and then
Yep. And
actually
the
having to
state,
follow on the
yep.
lines
And the
and make
state that we
sure.
would spend the most time with, we'd have like the big one just for the state. And then I get yelled at by my ex to put the map down. You can't be letting people see that you're a tourist.
That's right. You can't let people know you're a tourist. You can't.
Anyway,
Anyway,
we're
the
in
good
one of those
old days.
moods. Yeah, the
We
good
are.
old days.
Not really that good of a day. It was like scary,
I actually liked
non-navigable.
maps. But nowadays, anyway, moving along.
The point of that was you got to know where you're going.
You
got to know
do.
where you've been
You do.
to know where you're going to get to go to next. You really, it's so take a
Absolutely.
minute. If you're thinking about, I mean, we've already passed the 1st of January, but you know, most resolutions actually are within the first 7 days they fail. And then after, if you get through the first 7 days, it usually fails by the second month, by the first week of February. So if you happen to have gotten all the way to almost through week 1 of January and you're still holding on to your resolutions, great. Now we want you to just take a second to look back at 2024 and assess how did you come, or how far did you come? Like, what did you achieve? What held you back from achieving what you wanted? Did you change your mind halfway through the year? Like, were you following and striving for a goal that wasn't really yours, or wasn't really something that you align with now? And let that be a guide to help you go further from there. I mean, it's the whole concept of if we don't know, learn from the past, then we're doomed to repeat it. It's the same thing when it comes to your life. It's not just a history lesson, it's the history of you lesson. What did you do last year? Was it a success? Was it a failure? If it was a failure, that's still a success in a lot of ways if you learned from it, not if you sat in it, but if you learned from it. So where can we go from here? And what actionable steps can you put in place? Not just this, woo, I'll burn a piece of paper and I'll set my intention to the world, which is great. I'm not like poo-pooing people's traditions. I know a lot of my friends who are probably really mad at me now. That's good. I love you guys. I know you guys do this. And
Actually, I just taught that today.
And I believe, I know, I understand, but it's not just
No.
It's not just that. I mean, I have a friend who every New Year's Eve, she jumps off of a step onto her right foot. So she's always landing on the right foot of the new year. There's a lot of adorable traditions that people do. And I love you guys. And if you don't put in the action and put in the work, I mean, unless you're amazing at manifesting and like an amazing guru, that is not me.
Yeah.
I cannot just wish upon a star. I have to work for it.
No, it's not me jumping off on the right foot. So for those of you that slide into our DMs, that is not me.
No. You guys, I love you guys. You know that I love you and I have done it with you. You know that I would never poo-poo your things. I love it.
No.
You get enough champagne in me, I'll do anything. So
that's
I'm not poo-pooing.
That's facts.
I'm not poo-pooing you.
You know, here's the thing. Here's another thing. All of this said, in the reverse engineering and looking backwards to look forward and seeing what worked, where your barriers are, the one thing that we haven't really kind of dove into that I think we should spend a little bit of time is like, if you are setting yourself up, like I have said it and Amanda said it, are you setting yourself up for success? So if you're setting all of these goals, but yet you are doing the same things that you're doing this year as you did last year. So in order to get different results, you have to do things differently, right? So that's the first thing. The second thing, which actually should be the first thing, is if you're creating goals in the same environment, headspace, spiritual space, physical space, like mindset, etc., that you did last year where you didn't achieve so much, then how do you expect to achieve differently this time? What are you willing to change? What are you willing to do in order to have those things happen? Amanda and I, we're definitely realists. Like, we call each other out and we process uh,
Whether
every
we want to or
movement.
not.
Every movement that we do in our business, we never wait till the ending or the beginning of the year. We will set goals for the year, but we're constantly reviewing, and we're like, okay, this is what we didn't do. Like, this is how we didn't show up. Like, this is where we dropped the ball, but this is where we had successes. We're not just hard on ourselves. We're also recognizing the successes. But we're constantly up leveling. We're constantly saying, okay, what needs to be tweaked? We're constantly doing the self work as well. And when we kind of like fall into like the life is lifing and the shit, we can tell there is definitely a cause and effect. Now, sometimes our systems are fortified enough and all of that's in the right place. But we're able to pull ourselves out pretty quickly, even if we start to slide down backwards, right? So what we're going to say to you though is, like, are you cleaning the slate? Are you cleaning out the clutter energetically, emotionally, spiritually, financially, wherever you need to clear the clutter to be able to set the stage to give you the environment inside and externally to be able to absolutely have that new year, new you results that you want, right?
Absolutely. We're not saying you can't have a new you in the new year.
No.
We're just saying to stop saying that and then wondering why it didn't happen a year later when you didn't do anything.
Yeah, I don't
Sorry,
really like that phrase. I think it's more of an up leveling, but some of you, believe me, some of you can use a brand new you. I don't think any of you are our listeners, but
no, I like the idea. I mean, in general, I like the idea. Well, I love a love-hate relationship with the idea of new year, new you, because I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with, well, I think there's a lot of things inherently wrong with everybody, but I don't think that necessarily changing yourself is the solution. I don't think that's always the issue. I don't think you have to become like, I'm not going to be blonde this year. No offense, Lynn. I'm not going blonde.
That's all right. We're great,
but
that would be duo.
That would be a new year
with the blonde brunette. Like, we're the cliche.
I have to be brunette. I can only be brunette. Olive skin. Can't be anything else. But I've tried. Oh my God. Ooh. One day I'll show you a picture of me as blonde.
I want to see that.
Oh, it's terrible. Oh, it's terrible. Anyway, we want you to up level. We want you to embrace it. If new you is what resonates in your brain, then great. Be new you. If up level is what resonates for you, if resolution resonates with you, if it's goal setting that resonates with you, whatever that means to you, because I know we all have different ways of saying basically the same thing. It's all semantics. But ultimately, our goal in this podcast, and then just with everybody be pretty much preached to, whether or not they want it or not, is that we want to actually see it happen. We don't want to just, there's nothing worse than living 75 years of the same day and calling it a life. I sit on that quote all the time. And there's a lot of things this last couple of months for me that have made me really sit with the idea of the life that we lead. And I wouldn't feel good in myself to dull my shine and to live less than what I'm worth and less of what I'm capable of. And we don't want that for any of you either. We don't want you to look back next year and realize you're in the exact same place, setting the same resolutions and the same new you that you're looking for, that you tried for the last year.
Yeah.
Didn't reach.
Absolutely. Agreed. So we want to hear from you. What do you got going on in 2025? What are you going to do different? Sacrifice, change, grow from? What are you going to do different in order to get different results? We want to hear it. Leave it in the comments, DM us, let us know what your goals are for 2025. We want to,
and even if you love your life, because Lynn and I love our lives. We're not saying that I love my life. My life's awesome. And there's always room to go up from there.
100%.
There's always room to go up. Even if my life is so great that the only thing I can think of is like, what's the new pizza topping I'm going to try? Then like, that's my resolution. Like my life is so awesome. The only thing I can add is a new pizza. Great. That's what I'm going to add. But what can we add? What's something? I wish that were the case.
Pizza. Now you're hungry.
Yeah.
Dang.
Pizza and cookies.
Pizza and cookies. Oh, I've been eating way too many sweets being home. Jeez.
Well, it is the season, folks.
I know, but my belly hurts.
Sorry, denied. Well, welcome to this holiday season. But now, if you're listening to this, we're past the holidays. We're into new year, new you, new whatever. Suck it up, Buttercup.
That's right. That's right. Anyway, drop us a note. Let us know. We want to hear what you want to accomplish in 2025, how you're up leveling, the new part of you that is going to arise, the growth that you're going to have. And yeah, let's see it. And also make a comment on what resonated with you about our podcast, except for how awesome and how we crack ourselves up, because we certainly do. We love our life.
They can leave comments about that. You just say whatever you want.
Yeah,
positive, negative.
Absolutely. I love it.
We're happy to hear it.
Haters gonna hate. It's okay. Okay, now you're saying it. All right. So share this podcast. Share this podcast with somebody who needs to hear it in your network. Make sure you're hitting the subscribe button and check us out on all platforms, regardless of where you're listening to us. We're across all platforms from YouTube to Spotify to Apple and blah, blah, blah.
I'm sure all those other companies are happy that you included them into blah, blah, blah. I was going to say the underwater basket weaving company, which I'm sure is going to be a great podcast host these days.
It would be. Absolutely.
Thank you, everyone, for listening. We hope that you have an amazing year of new, fresh, whatever it is you're looking for. Thank you.
Yep. Till next time.
Get after it.
All right, everyone. It's not enough to just listen.
Now you've got to put it into action.
We are so excited to see what you do next.
If you enjoyed our show, please leave us a review on iTunes.
And to find out more about what we're doing, visit us at thepursuitofbadasserie.com.